You are sick of a stainless steel sports watch. Did I mention Rolex?
A Rolex!
Yuck. You see them everywhere, everybody is wearing them, they all kind of look the same, you hate them. So you want something totally opposite. You want a small rectangular gold watch. But if you want that, all you know, all what mainstream media told you about is Cartier. And there are many people like you. So that's why Cartier watches are getting hard to buy. There are no bargains. Vintage is more expensive than modern. And if you want something a little bit not common like a tank, something a little bit more interesting, then you need to pay this.
Record-breaking bamboo. It was crazy. A white gold bamboo and a nice leather strap. Estimate was like 30 to
60K.
60K.
It went 10 times the low estimate.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Or if you want a crash, then you need to pay like $1 million. There is more to small rectangular gold watch than Cartier. And I'm not gonna talk about things that mainstream media mentioned from time to time. You're not gonna hear about Reverso or Piaget here. Let me blow your mind. So when wristwatches just started, they started very differently in United States and Europe. Up until 1950s, in United States, the most popular, the most common watch that everybody was wearing and all the brands were producing was a small rectangular watch. And in Europe, it was very different. In Europe, the most common, the most produced watch was a round watch. So what you see here on the screen is a catalog from 1939 of a famous American brand. And you can see the watches that were available for men in 1939. So you would be like, if you don't know if you don't believe me, what I just said, you would think like, oh, this is like old Cartier catalog. No, this has nothing to do to Cartier. That's an American brand, and that's what they're making in 1939. There is pretty much only one round watch there. Everything else is what a modern collector would call a tank watches. That was Hamilton catalog, but you can also go for Waltham or Gruen from that time, or Elgin or Bulova. There were thousands of very, very cool, very interesting watches produced. You have amazing variety. You don't need to go to Cartier. And prices of these watches right now are very, very low. Like if you go solid gold, it's probably gonna, the prices are very close to melt or maybe slightly higher. But also what you are getting from American brand from that time, you are actually getting much, much better watch, much, much better brand than Cartier from the same period.
Why is it that until the last couple of years, Cartier was considered an inferior watch brand by many collectors?
Cartier up until 1970s was something kind of like what Tiffany is right now. Tiffany is a great jewelry brand, but it's not a watch brand. So if you drop by Tiffany boutique today and you look at watches that not a proper brand is making them, so Tiffany just puts the Tiffany stamp on those watches. But if you actually look at Tiffany watches made by Tiffany, this is abomination. This is disgrace to horology. That's what Cartier was at that time up until 1970s. And the best illustration to how bad the Cartier was at that time is the story of the tank watch. Did you know that Cartier wasn't allowed to advertise their, you would think, the most popular, the most iconic watch as a tank? They were not able to use that name because they didn't own it. So watch the whole story about the tank watch right here. That video is not finished yet. When it's done, I'm gonna update the link.